The broken compass. What if I told you that the worst day of your life was actually saving it? Meet Sarah Chen, 28 years old, marketing executive. Had her entire life mapped out like a GPS route with no alternate paths allowed. She was that person who color-coded her calendar and planned meals 3 weeks in advance. Control was her compass, and predictability was her destination. It was a Tuesday morning when everything shattered. Not metaphorically, literally shattered. Her phone screen cracked into a spider web of glass when it slipped from her trembling fingers. She had just read the email. The job she had sacrificed everything for the past 4 years was gone. Budget cuts, they said. Nothing personal, they wrote. Clear your desk by Friday, they demanded. Sarah stood in her apartment that evening, surrounded by boxes, feeling like she was packing away her entire identity. Every award, every business card, every motivational poster she had carefully arranged on her office wall now seemed like props from someone else's life. She had moved to Seattle for this position, left her family in Ohio, ended a 3-year relationship because long distance didn't fit into her career timeline. And for what? A cardboard box and a 2-paragraph email? The next morning, she couldn't get out of bed. Not because she was depressed, though that would have been completely understandable. She literally couldn't get out of bed because her back had seized up from stress. The kind of pain that makes you reconsider every life choice that led to this moment. Her neighbor Emma found her like that when she came to check why Sarah hadn't left for her morning run. Emma was a massage therapist who worked from home and had been trying to befriend Sarah for 2 years with limited success. Emma helped her to the car and drove her to the emergency room. Nothing serious, the doctor said. Muscle spasms from tension. Rest for a week. No strenuous activity. Perfect, Sarah thought. Now I can't even job hunt properly. But Emma had other plans. She insisted Sarah stay at her place, where she could keep an eye on her. Too proud to accept charity, but too immobile to argue, Sarah found herself on Emma's couch, binge-watching shows she had always been too busy to see. And that's when Emma started talking about her brother, Michael. Michael had been a software engineer at a major tech company. Stock options, 6-figure salary, the dream everyone chases in Seattle. Then, 3 years ago, he walked away from all of it. Just quit. Everyone thought he had lost his mind, including Emma at first. He moved to Thailand and started teaching English to kids in rural villages. No internet, no Starbucks, no career ladder to climb. Why would anyone do that? Sarah asked between episodes. Emma smiled and said, "You should ask him yourself. He's actually back in Seattle this week, coming over for dinner tonight." Michael arrived with groceries and an easy laugh that seemed incompatible with someone who had thrown away a golden ticket. Over homemade Thai curry, he told Sarah his story. He had been on track for a VP position, working 80-hour weeks, missing his niece's birthdays, skipping his own doctor appointments. Then one day, he collapsed in a meeting. Not from a heart attack, though that's what everyone feared. From a panic attack, so severe he thought he was dying. That moment of absolute terror became his wake-up call. He realized he had been climbing a ladder leaning against the wrong wall. The panic attack that felt like the end was actually the beginning. It forced him to ask what he was really working for. The answer terrified him more than the attack itself. He didn't know. He was chasing success, but couldn't define what success meant beyond the next promotion, the next milestone, the next achievement that would supposedly make him feel complete. So, he left. And then a village where kids walked 2 hours to get to school, where teachers earned barely enough to survive, where success was measured in smiles and small breakthroughs, he found something he had never experienced in a corner office. Purpose, connection, peace. Sarah listened, feeling something shift inside her chest. Not agreement exactly, more like a crack in the wall she had built around her beliefs about how life was supposed to work. Over the next week, Michael kept visiting. He introduced Sarah to meditation, which she initially mocked, but tried anyway out of boredom. He took her to a community center where volunteers taught job skills to immigrants. He showed her a version of Seattle she had lived in for 4 years but never actually seen because she had been too busy networking at happy hours and updating her LinkedIn profile. Something unexpected happened during that week. Sarah started helping at the community center. Just small stuff at first, proofreading resumes, practicing interview questions. But these people were so grateful for help she had considered basic. They treated her like she was giving them gold, when she was just sharing knowledge she had taken for granted. One woman named Amara from Somalia told Sarah her story. She had been a teacher back home. War destroyed everything. She escaped with her 2 children and nothing else. Now she was cleaning offices at night and studying for her teaching certification during the day. She had every reason to be bitter, but instead, she radiated gratitude. She told Sarah that losing everything taught her what actually mattered. Her children were alive. She had a chance to rebuild. Every obstacle was just another thing she had already proven she could survive. That conversation hit Sarah like cold water. Here was someone who had lost infinitely more, yet somehow had infinitely more hope. What did that say about Sarah's own crisis? She had lost a job. Not her health, not her family, not her actual life, just a job. The clarity was uncomfortable and liberating at the same time. Sarah started applying for positions, but differently this time. She didn't just search for titles and salaries. She looked for organizations whose missions actually meant something to her. She updated her resume to highlight the volunteer work she had done that week. She wrote cover letters about what she wanted to contribute, not just what she wanted to achieve. 3 weeks later, she got a call from a nonprofit focused on workforce development. They had seen her application. They were impressed by her corporate experience, but even more interested in her recent volunteer work. The position paid less than half her previous salary. It came with 0 prestige in traditional terms. But when the director described the work helping people transition from unemployment to meaningful careers, something inside Sarah said yes before her brain could calculate the financial implications. She took the job, and 6 months later, sitting in a cramped office that smelled like burnt coffee, listening to a single mother cry tears of joy because she had just gotten her first job in 3 years, Sarah finally understood. Everything that felt like falling apart had actually been falling into place. The layoff forced her to slow down. The back spasms made her accept help. Emma's friendship introduced her to Michael. Michael's story challenged her assumptions. The community center showed her a different definition of success. Amara's resilience put her problems in perspective. And all of it led her here, to work that paid her less but fulfilled her more. If she had gotten the promotion she had been chasing, she would still be in that glass tower, measuring her worth in performance reviews and profit margins. She would have missed this, all of this, the messy, beautiful, meaningful work of actually making a difference in individual lives. Everything happens for a reason isn't about fate or destiny. It's about perspective. It's about being open to the possibility that what feels like an ending might be a redirection. That sometimes we need to lose our way to find a better path. That the worst moments can become the best teachers if we're willing to learn the lesson. Sarah still has hard days. She still worries about money. She still questions her decisions when friends from her old life post about promotions and bonuses. But then she remembers. She remembers the person she was becoming in that corporate job. And she knows with absolute certainty that losing everything she thought she wanted gave her space to discover what she actually needed. So when life breaks your compass and ruins your map and forces you off the path you had so carefully planned, remember this. Maybe you weren't lost. Maybe you were just being redirected towards something better than you knew to ask for. Maybe everything really does happen for a reason. And maybe that reason is to show you who you're capable of becoming when you stop trying to control the destination and start trusting the journey.